Alright, what's up, guys? Welcome to my wrestling channel, Wrestling with TMossBoss. And in today's video, I wanted to overall get add my opinion on this ongoing debate with a lot of different wrestlers. But yeah, the latest wrestler I've seen this debate, or seen her in the middle of this debate is Jada Parker, where they're like pretty much trying to say she don't know how to wrestle. And I'm thinking to myself, like, if you're trying to put her on that same scale as, I guess Bianca Belair, Naomi, I'm trying to think of some Sasha Banks or Becky Lynch, who else? Charlotte Flair, Tiffany Stratton. She's her own person. You gotta remember that. So that's one thing that I felt that I've learned just throughout the years of me being a wrestling fan is that there are going to be wrestlers comfortable with where they are at, more so I guess talking on like their just, overall ability as a wrestler and things. So if you see them jumping off of the top rope, that's their thing. If you see them like on some Becky Lynch stuff where she could take a punch to the face, no shattered, all that, that's her level of comfort. I'm trying to think of some other, or even Chelsea Green, where it's all like girl getting thrown in trash cans. What else? I'm saying, like, you have to remember that everybody has their comfort level. So that's one thing, as a wrestling fan, I guess, like with me, I don't know. I'm a little bit more deeper in depth wrestling fan. Like, I don't allow a wrestler's in-ring ability to, I guess, affect, I guess, like, because you gotta remember, they're gonna be wrestling like what, 8 minutes out of the 2 hours that the show is on. So it's not like you're having to, I mean, I guess, like, I don't know, you can go do something while they're on TV wrestling and stuff. But yeah, it's like even with Ronda Rousey when she was involved, and people were criticizing her wrestling ability and stuff. And I would have to say my opinion, because I know I think I have talked on my opinion with Ronda Rousey when it came to being a professional wrestler. I think that she was trying to bring in her UFC, I guess, like persona into WWE. And that's the thing where it's like, with WWE, I think maybe if they would have written a story about like her, like, let's say if it had been on some stuff where it's like she's, I don't know. Like, I just think that they could have did some along the lines where it's like, I don't know, because you don't really see them do no stuff like that where they mention other companies or them being fine. I think maybe if it would have been a situation now where it's like they got this partnership, yeah, I think they could have probably worked out some story where it's like she got fired from the UFC and yeah, now she's trying to make a name for herself in WWE. Maybe, yeah, they could have sent her off to NXT to, like overall get her like in-ring wrestling ability developed a little bit more. But I think from what I remember is when I think she wrestled a match in Ring of Honor, and I from what I heard, people were saying that the match was good. Like she really showcased herself. So yeah, it's like I just think though that they her character was just too serious. That was more so what I had noticed. Like, I never really had anything criticizing to say about her in-ring ability, because here's the thing though. At one point in time, I guess, like, little fun fact about me and stuff. I think I've mentioned this before. I wanted to be a WWE wrestler. No, I kid you guys not. I remember, I think I was like either 11 or 12 years old. I called up the WWE headquarters and I asked them, how old do I have to be a professional wrestler? They told me 18. Never called back at 18. Because, no, the thing is this. As I got older and I watched wrestling more and more and more, and then I seen like all of these old videos, because I kind of got into wrestling a little late. I got into it in 2007, so wrestling was already established. But going back and watching these moments of wrestlers literally putting their life on the line, like, that's one thing about it. When you step into a wrestling ring, and that's why you'll never hear me criticize a wrestler's in-ring ability, but when you step into that ring, like, you're in a unsanctioned, like, I don't know what to really call it, but it's like you're putting your life on the line. You're putting your life at risk. And when you look at guys like Big E, when you look at guys like Seth Rollins, when you look at guys like I'm trying to think of some other wrestlers, they put their life on the line and they ended up having to pay the consequences and stuff. But it's like And it could just even be simple mistakes and simple accidents where it's like career done, over with, gone. Like you're never wrestling again. You're never going to have a normal life again. You look at guys like Mick Foley. I'm trying to think, Jeff Hardy. You know, you see these guys, they're like constantly putting their life on the lines. Even them wrestlers that don't really put their life on the line, still, they even have their moments where they get injured. I'm saying, like, I feel like every wrestler that has ever stepped in the ring has had to deal with some sort of injury. So that's why I'm like, it's just with Jada Parker. I know a lot of people were criticizing the one girl, what was her, like Eva Marie or something like that, and I just think that people, they just didn't overall like her and stuff. But anyway, I think that was that girl's name. Hold on for a second. Is that who? Yeah, it's Eva Marie. I think if they, well, no, because I think they did have it where she was on the developing thing. I don't know. Maybe if they would have had her like as a management position or something, kind of like, you know, like see if her, like how her like microphone skills are, you know, see how she is on the mic. And then if not that, you know, just kind of who she is as a person, like build around that. So, you know, it seemed like she's into social media and things. So, I don't know, maybe have her as like a social media, you know, like influencer for WWE and things. Like, because that's one thing that I always has sat down and thought of, is that if I don't ever, I guess, follow through with that dream, because I'm 28 years old. I think if I wanted to start a wrestling career right now, I think I could if I wanted to, but yeah, it's gonna take me a while and things. But anyways, but no, overall though, it's like if I had to run a wrestling business, I'm giving every wrestler a chance. So it's like, you know, just getting back to Jada Parker, people saying, because it was something that I seen on social media, and yeah, it was like saying that she couldn't wrestle, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, how long has she been wrestling? Because I think she does have a Wikipedia page, and she hasn't been wrestling that long. Like she's just been, yeah, she started wrestling 3 years ago. Her day. So hold on for a second. So there was like on August. So this is on Wikipedia. So it goes on to say on August 16th, 2022. I ain't gonna call her by her real name, but Parker was announced on as having signed with WWE as a part of the WWE Performance Center, along with 16 other recruits. Parker made her in-ring debut by participating in a battle royale at an NXT live event on October 28th. On March 25th, 2023, she had her first singles match at a NXT live event in a losing effort to Kaden Carter in September. Now under the ring name, so it's still in 2022. Jada Parker, she was announced as a participant in the NXT Women's Breakout Tournament and was defeated in the first round by Carmen Petrovic. So it's like, my thing is this, like, yeah, she just started wrestling 3 years ago. If you're trying to make it seem like that she has to be on that same scale as other wrestlers, I'm like, yeah, when she's been, and when you, I guess, like, if people are trying to compare her to Bianca, let's see how long she's been wrestling. Bianca Belair. So she debuted in, 2016. The way she be wrestling, you would thought she was like wrestling since like the early 2000s or something. Dang, huh? Well, it's like, okay, professionally. So there's like CrossFit, signed social media firm between their Mark Henry. Oh yeah, I think I did see some along those lines where there was like Mark Henry had noticed her, and then that's when she ended up getting signed with WWE. That's actually pretty dope. But anyways, I'm trying to think. Let's see. Dang, Lacey Evans, that's a name I haven't heard in a while. She debuted 2014. She don't really wrestle no more, but yeah, I feel like she kind of had a thing going on a little bit. Let's see, Becky Lynch. How long has she been? I think she's been wrestling for a fat, 2002. Yeah, I was about to say she's been wrestling for a fat minute now. So yeah, she oh, she just got her. They was like, she got her United States citizenship in last year. That's crazy. But anyways, but yeah, it's like you're trying to have her on the same scale as those wrestlers. It's like that's why I'm like, when I see people talk like that, I'm like, hey, look, you know, unless you done got in this ring, you done wrestled for years upon years, or at least like, even if it's on some stuff where it's like you got the same amount of time and experience, or not experience, but just overall the same amount of time in the ring as Jada Parker. Who's on TV and who's not on TV? That's what I mean by when people be trying to criticize her or anybody else. It's like, are you on TV or are they on TV? So I know there's gonna probably be people coming after me after I do this video and stuff, but I'm like, hey, look, I'm like, unless you can showcase to me that you're a much more better wrestler than Jada Parker, I'm like, I ain't got nothing to hear from you. So yeah, because it's like people, they get to criticizing somebody, and it's like, fam, you're not even a wrestler. So the thing is this. I feel like that I might be a little bit hypocritical when I say this, because I know people will probably get on me and be all like, oh, well, you criticize game developers, but you're not a developer. The thing is this though. I guess like with if you want to get all technical with it, because I'm like, with me in video games, I'm like, I go out and pay $70 for a product. I'm like, I'm expecting to get a good product. You're watching a developing show. So overall, I'm like, yeah, I guess if I'm watching the process of the video game being developed, yeah, I probably, if there's something that I noticed, I'm like, okay, hopefully they fix it. And that's why they're in that development. I have to say, I guess the difference between a professional wrestler and a video game developer is that I feel like, yeah, when you put yourself, I guess maybe, yeah, she's on, I feel like she is ready for Monday Night Raw and SmackDown. I wouldn't mind seeing her on there. I think she's cut out for it and stuff. I feel like she's good on the mic, good in the ring. My thing is this, when she is on TV, and I know people are probably all like, oh bro, you just simping over her and all this other stuff. I'm like, fam, place, even if it's a male wrestler, because I feel like there's a lot of like male wrestlers that's on NXT where I'm like, yeah, they overall, because they just introduced some new guys, and I'm all like, yeah, they feel like they have what it takes to overall get throughout NXT, become a popular tag team, and making their way into, because I feel like when you like put together a couple of people and make a tag team, I feel like now it's like they really be focused on that like tag team department and stuff in wrestling. But overall, yeah, I'm like, I'm not simping over her. It's like, it ain't none of that. I'm like, I just don't understand that disrespect towards an individual where it's like there ain't even no reason to be disrespecting them and stuff. So yeah, it's one of those things where I'm like, if she does see that, I'm like, Jada, don't even, no. I'm like, that, I wouldn't even allow that to get to me. It's like, because that's the thing. I'm like, everybody got to start somewhere, so it's like, as long as you want to improve, that's all that matters. You want to improve. You're not listening to other people telling you to improve. No, you want to improve, and you want to do it for yourself. That's all that matters. The critics, the haters, all that stuff. And that's most likely, because that's one thing that I've been paying attention to a lot lately, is the IWC. I think that stands for the Internet Wrestling Community, where yeah, it's like there's a lot of people that are just critics within that community, and it's like, bro, what are you get in the ring and you do something better. And I'm like, because if not, then I'm like, yeah, you go and be prime Jeff Hardy, prime Batista, prime let me think of some other people, let me think, Becky Lynch. I'm trying to think of some other Bianca Belair. You go in the ring and be prime them and stuff. If not, then it's like, bro, stop criticizing people that's on their own path, in their own lane, not worried about you, ain't never said nothing about you, but you feel like you need to say everything under the moon about them, and they ain't did nothing to you. Besides, and I'm like, that's one thing I feel like a lot of people be forgetting, is that NXT is a developing show. Or a development show. Overall, it's like, yeah, these guys ain't gonna be John Cena on the mic. They ain't gonna be I'm trying to think, Rey Mysterio in the ring and stuff. No, these are their own. Jada Parker is her own person. So that's why I'm like, man, it trips me out when I see that stuff, because I'm like, bro, what did she do to deserve that? I'm like, that out here getting hated. And I feel like, when it's stuff like that, when it be happening, then it's like, I feel that somewhere behind the scenes, WWE is like, nah, let's put a title on her. Let's have it where she goes up to the main roster. Let's have it where it's like all these different things that's happening to her and stuff. And so, yeah, overall, I'm like, yeah, it's one of those things where I'm like, because I feel like even people were doing that with whatchamacallit, Austin Theory, and it's like, I feel like that when people be trying to hype him up into, then it's like, then it's like they're flip-floppers pretty much, at one point in time. And I'm like, I feel like I even seen this same thing with Jada Parker. It's like, you got people where, one day they love her, then the next day they just randomly start hating on her. And I'm like, same with Austin Theory. I'm trying to think of some other people. I feel like it was a reverse situation with Roman Reigns. That's why I'm like, at times, I'm gonna be listening to the wrestling community. I'm like, or internet wrestling community, or anybody. I'm like, you hate that wrestler, that's on you. But Yeah, it's like I just remember with Roman Reigns, you know, people was booing this man left and right every single week, and I'm like, I don't understand the booing. I'm like, this man, there's wrestlers that we haven't even seen in years, and it's like they ain't signed with no other company, like they just at home chilling and stuff. There ain't nothing wrong with that, but I'm saying though, it's like, you know, you got wrestlers where it's like they're signed with WWE and they don't be wrestling every week, and it's like, what's up with that? Here it was Roman Reigns, this man was on TV, yeah. Now you don't really see him doing that now because I'm like, this man's chilling. But at one point in time, every week, I'm trying to think, did he even really during that like run where he was like, it was like post Shield Roman Reigns, where he was like big dog Roman Reigns and stuff. And did he really get any injuries during that time? I feel like that was the one time where he did step away, was when he was handling his leukemia and stuff. And so I think that was like the one and only time he had, at least that I remember, of him stepping away. And I'm like, and then that's when everybody was cheering for him and they loved him. And I'm like, man, it's just at times, you know, the wrestling come out. I know, as I'm saying, I'm wearing this OTC. People are like, oh no, he a Roman Reigns fanboy and stuff. No, I just really like this hoodie and things. I'm like, nah, it's like, it's been a while since I had bought me some wrestling merch. And so I'm like, nah, let me go ahead, buy me some wrestling merch and stuff. Who knows? Maybe next it might be, yeah, then people, they're gonna be like, nah, you 100% a Jada Parker sim. You out here wearing hoodies and shirts of her and all that stuff. And I'm like, and so what? I'm like, nah, it's one of those things. I'm like, I'm gonna support who I support. I'm going to like who I like. I'm going to cheer for whoever I cheer for and stuff, boo for whoever I want to boo for and things. But overall, it's like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like that, you know, I'm still that kid that got into wrestling where it's like, you know, you're going with the crowd, and then but then at the same time, it's like I go with the crowd when it's that, like, you know, it's like that Dominic Mysterio type booing, where it's like we're booing him because it's we're not booing him because of his wrestling abilities. It's just, that's just what people do because it's funny and stuff, you know. It's just kind of, but it's one of those things where it's like we can recognize greatness. And that's why I'm like, even people were saying that with him, where it's all like, oh, he ain't ready for the Intercontinental Championship and things. I'm like, yes, he is. That man's been ready for a long time now. All right. So, anyways, it's weird, you know, you just see that flip flopping and just that backwards energy and stuff in the wrestling community. And I'm like, bro, I don't get it, man. I just don't get it. But anyways, with that being said, I will talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe if you are new to the channel, and peace.